Welcome to the 14th John Young History Maker Celebration. Here's our host, Michael Perkins.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the 14th Annual John Young History Maker Celebration. I am Michael Perkins, the Executive Director of the Orange County Regional History Center, and it is my pleasure to serve as the Master of Ceremonies for this evening's event. Thank you all for joining us tonight, celebrating those who have made a historic impact on Central Florida through their work and commitment to this community. 15 years ago, the Historical Society of Central Florida began holding this annual event to honor individuals who have made a significant impact on our community. Named after our hometown astronaut hero, the John Young History Maker Celebration has served as a way to recognize our local history-making leaders who have changed the face of Central Florida and our way of life. In addition to honoring a present-day history maker, the Historical Society recognizes two past history makers and a future history maker. First of all, I'd like to recognize our Orange County partners who make the Regional History Center possible through their generous support. We would like to acknowledge and thank Orange County Mayor Jerry L. Demings, as well as all of the Orange County Commissioners whose support of the History Center is critical to our continued success. Tonight I want to thank all 6 county commissioners, District 1 Commissioner Betsy Vanderlei, District 2 Commissioner Christine Moore, District 3 Commissioner Myra Uribe, District 4 Commissioner Maribel Gomez Cordero, District 5 Commissioner Emily Bonilla, and District 6 Commissioner Victoria P. Siplin. We also want to recognize Orange County's Administrator, Byron Brooks. We also want to recognize our City of Orlando partners, including Orlando Mayor Buddy Dyer and all of the City Commissioners. Finally, of course, we want to acknowledge the generous contributions of our gold and silver sponsors, Truist Financial, Orlando Health, Walt Disney World, Orlando Credit Union, and of course WUCF for being the media sponsor for our event. Of course, we also appreciate our bronze sponsors who also made tonight's event possible. We're deeply grateful for your support of tonight's event and for supporting the Historical Society of Central Florida. Thank you for all you do in the community. The proceeds from this event through the Historical Society will support the region's History Center's educational programming and exhibitions, as well as our continuing efforts to make our History Center a vital community resource. Since we are virtual this year, we want to make the experience as good as possible for you. To make this presentation full screen, please move your cursor over the lower right-hand corner of the window, and you'll see a small blue icon with arrows. Click on that icon to make the presentation full screen. Before we begin with the awards portion of the program, we do need to pause to remember the man for whom this event is named, Captain John Young. Captain Young passed away in January of 2018 after an incredible career as a NASA astronaut. To speak about him and his ties to Orlando, I'm pleased to welcome the History Center's collection manager, Whitney Broadway. Following Whitney, we'll hear from Orange County Mayor Jerry L. Demings. But first, a bit about the history of our ward namesake, John Young.
Captain John Young has been described as Orlando's greatest export. He grew up here in College Park. In fact, you can still drive by his childhood home. And he graduated from Orlando High School in 1948. After studying aeronautical engineering at Georgia Tech and becoming a pilot and captain of the U.S. Navy, John Young joined NASA in 1962 as a part of Astronaut Group 2, the second group of candidates to be trained for space travel. Young spent 42 years in active NASA service. That's longer than any other astronaut. And he built up a laundry list of accomplishments during his career. He was the first of the second string of astronauts to make it to space. He's one of only 12 human beings to have ever walked on the moon, or as he would put it, to have worked on the moon. And he has flown more spacecraft than anyone else in history: a Gemini, Apollo, lunar module, and a space shuttle. John Young was also known for his dry and witty sense of humor. When asked about his legendary steady heart rate during takeoffs, which tended to hang around 70 beats per minute, while other astronauts' hearts rocketed to 140 or 170 BPM. He replied that his heart was just too old to go any faster. John Young also made waves with the first fart on the moon, which at the time scientists were worried might cause something to explode, and the incident he caused by sneaking a corned beef sandwich on the first crewed Gemini flight, which honestly only added to pressure NASA was under to provide actually edible food to the astronauts. John Young may sound like a space cowboy, and he was, but he also had the brains to back up that bravado. He was the backup commander for Apollo 13, and while here on Earth played an integral part in bringing that crew safely home. When the Challenger shuttle exploded in 1986, he also showed another type of bravery. He was very outspoken about NASA's safety practices, even at the expense of his active service status. In fact, the Columbia shuttle explosion in 2003 was caused by the very same malfunction that John Young had brought to NASA's attention and been warning them about since Columbia's very first flight in 1981. Tonight, we honor history makers of the past, present, and future that embody the same spirit as our very own Captain John Young.
Thank you, Whitney. Captain Young certainly lived a full and rich life and is one of Central Florida's most significant people. The History Center receives substantial support for its operations and staffing from Orange County government, and I'm pleased to present Orange County Mayor Jerry L. Demings to share his thoughts about the John Young Award and tonight's awardees.
Hello, I'm Orange County Mayor Jerry Demings. It is a pleasure to congratulate Dr. Sandy Shugart, President of Valencia College, on receiving the John Young History Maker Award. I've had the opportunity to work closely with Dr. Shugart over the years on various matters. He has always been quick to respond and willing to serve our community, as demonstrated by his service on numerous boards and task forces. Since Valencia College's humble beginnings in 1967, President Shugart is only the fourth president. He assumed the role in 2000, and we have witnessed firsthand the growth of Valencia College over the last several decades to meet the needs of our growing community. Valencia College expanded their footprint in East and West Orange County to include the Winter Park campus, the Lake Nona campus, the Walt Disney World Center for Hospitality and Culinary Arts, and one of the first criminal justice institutes in the region. Dr. Shugart and his team are focused on building partnerships that strengthen academic opportunities and scholarships to make a quality education attainable. Under Dr. Shugart's leadership, the Direct Connect to UCF program was developed. This is a unique partnership to expand students' access to bachelor's degrees. This is the most productive university-community college partnership in the country. He also developed partnerships with Orange County Public Schools to provide mentoring and scholarships to middle school students from low-income backgrounds, and he worked with local corporations to advance education and training opportunities. It is this type of forward thinking that sets Valencia College apart from the rest. In 2011, Valencia College was the winner of the Aspen Prize for Community College Excellence. In other words, the best community college in the nation. This honor and distinction does not come easily. It takes an experienced leader, an innovator, a visionary, a consensus builder, a faculty that is committed to excellence, and a person who is true and steadfast to their beliefs. It is this unique combination of qualities that Dr. Shugart and Valencia College continue to improve academic excellence for the over 70,000 students. Thank you, Dr. Shugart, for your dedication and commitment to the faculty and students of Valencia College, and for your partnership in our community. We are so proud that Valencia College calls Orange County home. Before I close, it is an honor to recognize two past History Maker winners posthumously, Elizabeth McCullough Johnson and Paul C. Perkins Sr. Ms. Johnson was elected to the Florida House of Representatives in 1957 and was the first female elected to the Florida Senate. She was a champion of mental health issues and access to adult education. One of her greatest achievements in the legislature was when she worked for a bond program to establish the University of Central Florida. Attorney Perkins, a veteran of World War II, graduated from Howard University's law school and worked with Thurgood Marshall of the NAACP Legal Defense Fund to represent the Groveland Four. Former Orlando Mayor Robert Carr appointed Mr. Perkins as the city prosecutor. He was the first African American to serve in that role. As he entered private practice, he was the co-founder of Washington Shores Federal Savings and Loan Association in Orlando, the first African American-owned lending institution in Florida. Thank you to the Historical Society for recognizing Dr. Sandy Shugart, Ms. Elizabeth Johnson, and Mr. Paul C. Perkins for their contributions to our community.
Our thanks to Mayor Demings for his remarks this evening. The History Center is supported by Orange County, and it also receives support from the City of Orlando. Tonight, I'm pleased to welcome Orlando Mayor Buddy Dyer, who will share his thoughts about our award recipients. After Mayor Dyer, we'll be treated to a short musical interlude provided by students from the Valencia College School of Music.
Thank you for joining us for this virtual John Young History Maker celebration. Your support helps advance the work done by the Orange County Regional History Center to preserve and share the rich history of our community. History made by leaders like Senator Beth Johnson and Paul C. Perkins, Sr., two heroes who blazed new trails for women and people of color, not just in Central Florida, but all of Florida. Tonight, we celebrate a living hero, Dr. Sandy Shugart. He's too modest to acknowledge this, but future generations will remember his contributions, just like we today honor those made by Senator Johnson and Mr. Perkins. Over a 20-year tenure, Dr. Shugart transformed Valencia College into one of America's leading colleges. And that's not an exaggeration. It's an objective truth. Under his leadership, Valencia was awarded the Aspen Prize for Community College Excellence. Valencia is known nationally for its collaborative and shared model of governance and its reputation for learning excellence. But Dr. Shugart did something far more than provide educational credentials to tens of thousands of Central Floridians. He shared an infectious curiosity about the world around us and inspired students to be well-rounded, responsible citizens. Congratulations, Dr. Shugart. Thank you for the years of hard work building a nationally leading college and a better Orlando for so many residents.
Can I run through my resistance back to where you are? And hey, it's you on my horizon. Why am I compromising with the morning star? Teach me the things that I don't know. Take me to places I can't go. The garments of love are what I wear when you teach us to care and not to care. Oh, 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 oh. And hey, I feel you all around me. Emotions can compound the only perfect thing. And hey, is this a storm that's clearing? A winter disappearing into a perfect spring? Teach me the things that I don't know. Take me to places I can't go. The garments of love are what I wear when you teach us to care and not to care.
I'd like to thank Mayor Dyer for his comments, and the music you heard after him was performed by students from Valencia College School of Music. Now I'd like to introduce Lenny Bendo, the president of the board of the Historical Society of Central Florida, to introduce our 2020 John Young History Maker Scholarship Awardee with the John Young History Maker Future Award. After Lenny's comments, we'll hear from our awardee, Chase Bennett.
This evening, I have the honor to present the John Young History Maker Future Award to Chase Bennett. Chase is a recent graduate from Cocoa Beach Senior High School. There, he was on the A honor roll for all 4 years and received recognition as an AP Scholar with honor. His extracurricular activities included the National Honor Society, Political Activism Club, and Student Government Association. In addition to his academic excellence, Chase gave back to his community, serving more than 300 hours helping to organize events for March of Dimes, Relay for Life, and World Kindness Day, as well as leading numerous food drives and Secret Santa gift drives. Chase is now attending the University of Pennsylvania. I hereby present the John Young History Maker Future Award and Scholarship to Chase Bennett.
Good evening. My name is Chase Bennett, and I'm excited to say that I'm the recipient of the John Young Future History Maker Scholarship. When I learned that I received this award, I was extremely honored because of the legacy of the man who it is named after. John Young is a great historical figure for Florida and all of mankind. His work inspired the world and brought new progress in science and knowledge of the universe around us. Most of all, he demonstrated that anything is possible. I too want to change the world around me. I want to change the fabric of societal acceptance of all people and establish rights for everyone regardless of their race, sexual orientation, and regardless of where they are from. Progress has been made throughout the decades, but there is still far more that needs to be done. Progress is something that should never stop and can never stop. No society is perfect, which is why we must recognize our faults in order to fix them. We can all do our part to improve society. I have found that improvement can come from involvement in political activism. It can come from voting. Besides politics and legislation, equality can be achieved through holding strong values that all regard treating every individual with respect and dignity in our daily lives. Through all of this, we can create and continue a movement to make society a place where everyone can thrive and succeed. I want to thank the Historical Society of Central Florida for selecting me as the recipient for this incredible award. This scholarship will allow me to continue my studies in college. I recently started my freshman year at the University of Pennsylvania, where I am pursuing a degree in economics from the Wharton School of Business. I'm also exploring political science, other studies, and extracurricular involvement to find new ways to play a bigger role in moving society in a direction of equality and progress. Thank you again for the John Young Future History Maker Scholarship. I am so grateful and honored, and I will continue my work as a political activist in any way I can to try and live up to the legacy of this award and of the great history maker, John Young. Thank you.
Thank you, Chase, and congratulations. As Lenny said, Chase is attending the University of Pennsylvania this fall. In 2008, the Historical Society realized by recognizing history makers only from today, we were, in a sense, forgetting our past and forgetting those whose actions years ago shaped the community that we live in today. Our first history maker past winner was Dr. Philip Phillips, whose pioneering work in the citrus industry helped to shape Central Florida's economy for decades. Dr. Phillips was followed by a who's who of Central Florida history makers, including High Lake, Earl Duke Crittenden, Orlando Mayor Carl Langford, Curtis Stanton, William C. Coleman, Burt Roper, Dr. William Wells, Albert Nelson, and Richard Fletcher. From citrus pioneers to real estate visionaries, each of these honorees left an indelible mark on our community and left it a better place to live for their having been here. Today, for the first time, the Historical Society is recognizing two History Maker past winners. Each helped to shape our history in important ways, and both deserve to be remembered as trailblazers in our community. Our first History Maker past winner is Paul C. Perkins. Mr. Perkins was born in North Carolina and served in the Army in World War II. After graduating from Howard University Law School, he moved to Orlando, where he worked with the NAACP Legal Defense Fund and future Supreme Court Justice Thurgood Marshall to represent the Groveland Four. Orlando Mayor Robert Carr appointed him city prosecutor in 1965, making Perkins the first African-American person to serve in that role. He resigned in 1969 to devote himself to his private practice and also co-founded the Washington Shores Federal Savings and Loan Association, the first African-American owned lending institution in Florida. To learn a little more about Mr. Perkins, let's enjoy this short video. Following the video, we'll hear from Mr. Perkins' son, Paul C. Perkins, Jr.
He was a man of his time. It was very tumultuous. It was very violent. It was full of terrorism, and there were consequences for your actions. And he was acutely aware of that. When you consider the sheriff, Dave Starr was a member of the Klan, the leader of the Klan, and he had to deal with these kind of people. But Paul, he knew what the deal was. There were landmines all around. In order for him to survive, he had to be able to figure out where they were and to walk carefully and not to hit a tripwire.
Lawyer, civil rights activist, survivor. For young Paul Perkins, these definitions came together when he was presented with a case that so represented this tumultuous time, defending Walter Irvin of the Groveland Four.
There's this fantastic picture, and there at the defense table is a future U.S. Supreme Court Justice, Thurgood Marshall, the legendary Jack Greenberg, along with Walter Irvin. And sitting over to the left in the courtroom, you see Mr. Perkins, and he's at work trying to help defend the wrongly accused. It's a fantastic picture. After that, he went to practice law in Orlando. He became the first African-American city prosecutor in the city's history. He went on later on in life to become a prominent lawyer here in the Orlando area, and was also one of the co-founders of the first African-American owned Savings Loan Association. That's a full life. That's a rich and meaningful life.
A full life that had a substantial impact on the people of Central Florida.
He obviously made a difference. He obviously impacted my life and everybody else, because when I came in, we didn't have the vitriol that we had, so he softened the ground for us to plant the seed for us to grow further. So he worked within the confines of the system to make things better for people all around. Because no matter what your motivation is, if you help yourself, you have to help other people.
All of our communities have heroes, and Mr. Perkins is one of ours. Especially at a time we're living through right now, it's worth all of us who call ourselves citizens of Orlando and Orange County to think about Mr. Perkins and the sacrifices he made, the hard work he undertook to bring us to a better place and make a better community. He's part of our history, and we should honor him for that.
We would like to thank WUCF for their assistance in creating the videos about all of our awardees this evening. Now, to accept the John Young History Maker Past Award for his father is Paul C. Perkins, Jr. Following Mr. Perkins' remarks, we will enjoy our second musical interlude, again provided by students from the Valencia College School of Music.
Good evening. I'd like to thank the Historical Society for this great honor. On behalf of my mother, Jackie Perkins, who will be 89 October 18th of this year, and my brother, Byron Perkins, who's my older brother, and his wife, Anita, I won't give their ages, and their children. And also on behalf of my wife, Andrea, and myself and my children, I'd like to thank the Historical Society for this great honor. My father was, he did very serious things, obviously, but we remember him as a person who never took himself too seriously. He was always laughing and joking and being the life of the party, and we remember that about him most. He loved his community, he loved his country, he loved his family, he loved God, and he loved history. And so I think he would be particularly honored to get this award. So on behalf of my family, I would just like to say thank you very, very much. And we really, really appreciate it.
Dirty foreign lives, how many Alexandrias? Glory, glory, mystic creatures of the wild, sacred perfumes of the Nile, a pound of gold for every scar. Around the world our fingers wrapped, we etched our names onto the map, but who'd have known they stretch so far? Should I join you in your fate? No victory could satiate. Could I curse my father's pride? If I don't, then will I die? I will stay and watch you fall over the edge towards the siren's call. But will I see my dog again?
And again, we'd like to thank the students from the Valencia School of Music for that interlude. Now, I'd like to introduce our second History Maker Past awardee. Beth Johnson was born in Pennsylvania and graduated from Vassar College in 1930. After moving to Orlando, she honed her leadership skills with the League of Women Voters in Orange County, and then on Orlando's Planning and Zoning Commission. In 1957, she won election to the Florida House, and in 1962, she became the first woman elected to the Florida Senate. She served until 1967, championing mental health issues and education. She was also instrumental in creating the bond program to establish Florida Technical University, today the University of Central Florida. To learn a little more about Ms. Johnson's impact on Central Florida, let's enjoy this short video. Following this video, our board president, Lenny Bendo, will talk about the Historical Society and its role in the community, and will kick off the History Center's 20th anniversary with a special announcement. First, let's learn more about Beth Johnson.
Elizabeth McCullough Johnson was born in a small, tightly knit Pennsylvania town. It was that strong sense of community that she brought with her to Central Florida.
She thought Orlando was an amazing place. She wanted to see it grow correctly, and so she brought in the planners to figure out, what the city is, where it should be growing. She introduced that and got the city going in that direction very well, and did such a good job that when a seat opened up in the House, some of the leaders of the community came to her and said, "Beth, we want you to run." And she said, "Oh, no, let my husband run. He's a lawyer and he knows all this sort of stuff." And they said, "No, we want you."
Senator Beth Johnson was a real trailblazer, one of the first women to seek public office in the state of Florida. And she set not only a standard, but a pattern for those of us who followed her. She was very involved in community activities, the League of Women Voters, Orlando Planning Board. She involved herself in community activities and proved how important that viewpoint and that kind of expertise could be. So in the next generation, many of us look to her as a model for how we lived our own lives and eventually made that tough decision to seek public office.
With a degree from Vassar College and her passionate involvement with community organizations, many consider Beth Johnson's meticulous preparation both her signature trait and greatest tool as a legislator.
I think it was part of her League of Women Voters training. Study the issues very hard, know all sides of the issue, and what's the best solution and why, and how you could possibly resolve it. And one of the legislators said one time, he said, "Well, she said, she's a lady. She's a real lady. But once we got into the committee and started debating and talking and reasoning and compromising and proposing, she knew so much more than we did." He said, "We forgot she was a woman," which I think maybe had been a really the highest compliment he could have paid.
She was serving at a critical time. The 60s and the 70s are when Disney decided to come to Central Florida. And she was in the legislature when they sought the benefits that made them decide to come here. Probably in addition to her work in mental health, her work for women and education, her most important contribution was promoting a bond issue that established the University of Central Florida, which to many of us, when it was established, was way out in the middle of a cow pasture somewhere. And today, the University of Central Florida is the second largest in the country. And I think it's very important to give Senator Johnson all the credit for that kind of wisdom and influence and foresight.
Oh, I think she would be absolutely delighted and so thrilled that later generations thought she was worthy of this honor. Of course, I think she was. I think it's wonderful. I think if you knew her, you'd agree she deserved it.
I'd like to thank Beth Johnson's daughter, Judge Winifred Sharp, for working with us on the video. She was unable to join us for the ceremony this evening, and we accept the award on her behalf. We know that some of you watching this evening may not be familiar with the Historical Society or the History Center and the important work that we do to preserve Central Florida's rich history. To briefly talk about the Historical Society's role in the community, I'd like to again introduce our board president, Lenny Bendo.
Thank you, Michael. And thank you to all of you who have joined us this evening for our first ever virtual John Young event. I would like to take a moment to share about the Historical Society of Central Florida and our unique partnership with Orange County to bring you the History Center. The years 2015 through 2019 saw a change in leadership and strategic plan. The History Center embarked on a full-scale renovation of the permanent exhibition spaces, which is still now in progress. But in just 4 years, the History Center has been the recipient of several top national awards, including the National Medal from the Institute of Museum and Library Services. These awards and recognition are due in part to the revamp and execution of our new strategic plan, mission, and vision. To serve as a gateway for community engagement, education, and inspiration by preserving and sharing Central Florida's continually unfolding story. We explore the past to deepen our understanding of the world, to evoke empathy, and to aspire action towards a better future. So how can you help us fulfill our mission and vision here in Central Florida? Well, to start, you already are by participating in this evening's John Young event. So thank you again for that. All of tonight's proceeds support the Historical Society and the History Center. You could also check out and bid on some of our amazing silent auction items tonight. There are several trip packages. My favorites are the Disney and Universal Studios experiences. Another way to support the Society is to help us celebrate the History Center's 20th anniversary with our $20 for 20 years fall fundraiser, or if you prefer and are able, $200 or $2,000. Anything you can do to support the Society supports the History Center and preserves our history here in Central Florida. Please check out our website to donate to our fall campaign, renew your Society membership, and to stay posted on all of our events. Thank you again for your generosity. Now, before we present the History Maker Present Award to Dr. Shugart, please enjoy more music from the students at Valencia.
I know you belong to somebody new, but tonight you belong to me. Although we're apart, you're a part of my heart, and tonight you belong to me. Way down by the stream, how sweet it will seem once more just to dream in the moonlight. My honey, I know with the dawn that you will be gone, but tonight you belong to me, just a little old me.
What do I do when my love is away? Does it worry you to be alone? How do I feel at the end of the day? Are you sad cause you're on your own? I can't find a little help from my friends, so I'm gonna try a little help from my friends.
We sincerely appreciate the support of the Valencia School of Music in providing all of the talented musicians that we heard from this evening. Our John Young History Maker awardee this evening is Valencia College, represented by Dr. Sanford Sandy Shugart. The college began as Valencia Junior College in 1967 in a few portable buildings on Oak Ridge Road in Orlando. In 1971, the name was changed to Valencia Community College and moved to its first permanent location on Kirkman Road. Additional campuses were opened afterward, including the East Campus in 1975 and locations in Osceola County and Winter Park in the 1990s. As the college continued to expand its role in the community, it opened the Walt Disney World Center for Hospitality and Culinary Arts in 2004, and in 2006 established a partnership with UCF to expand student access to bachelor's degrees. This partnership is considered to be the most productive university community college partnership in the country. In 2011, community was dropped from the name and it became Valencia College. Also in 2011, the college was the inaugural winner of the Aspen Prize for Community College Excellence as the best community college in the nation. Today, the college hosts over 70,000 students and awards more associate degrees than any other community college in the nation. In 2000, Dr. Sandy Shugart became the 4th president of Valencia College. Prior to this role, he served as president of North Harris College and as vice president and chief academic officer of the North Carolina Community College System. He earned his PhD in teaching and learning from the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. In addition to his career in education, Dr. Shugart is also a published poet, musician, songwriter, and author. To learn more about the impact of Valencia College on our community, please enjoy this video courtesy of WUCF. Following the video, we will hear from a few Valencia alumni who will share their experiences and how Valencia shaped their lives, and then hear from Dr. Shugart.
Serving some 70,000 students per year, Valencia College is one of the most celebrated community colleges in America. Known for high rates of graduation, transfer, and job placement, it has become something of a national laboratory for best practices in learning-centered education. While you could easily measure its success by any or all of those standards, Valencia President Dr. Sandy Shugart uses a very different yardstick.
The college really is the important thing. For 50 years, it's changed lives all over the community, created a new kind of opportunity, partnered with everybody that can be partnered with to lift the community, and created pathways for families to find their way into the middle class and beyond based on the value they add to the community, not just some public policy. So it's really been a transformational institution. And one of the things that makes it important, I think, is that it doesn't think about itself. It thinks about the people we serve. So it's not about the college. It's not about our endowment and our brand and our buildings and our books and our people. Those are the things that colleges and universities tend to get a little bit obsessed with. It's really about the mission we pursue, and the mission's always been a servant mission.
Part of Valencia's success comes from partnerships forged with everyone from university presidents and leaders of industry to five-star restaurants and even a rock and roll band.
Pretty much everything that we've done has been in partnership. So that willingness to share, right, and not just be about let's make Valencia great, let's make our community great, and how do we do that? And we do that in partnership.
A fundamental value of being a good servant is you listen to the ones you serve. So whether that's the community or an employer in the community or the students and their families, you lead with your listening, and then you fashion solutions to the problems they really want to solve.
With every partnership, every big idea, every specialized program, the needs of the students come first, and that priority leads to more options and more positive outcomes.
One of his favorite terms is the uncommon scholar. He loves the idea of someone coming back to school, or someone that had no success in high school and is a late bloomer, someone that comes out of prison. All these stories that we do have at Valencia, and they are uncommon scholars, and he loves that.
When I came to Valencia 20 years ago, it was already a very good institution and already testing those big ideas that I mentioned earlier. It was a privilege for me to help them find their voice and to remove obstacles to innovation, to fan into flame the coals that were already there. That's not, it's not a starring role. We tend to think of the president of an institution as the star. I think of myself as a role player in the organization. I have a role to play, but the organization is so much larger than I am and does work beyond anything I could do. And there are many, many other role players in the organization whose contributions I couldn't match. So it's a team sport, and all the players are role players. There's no star.
While Dr. Shugart might not consider himself a star, people who've worked closely with him during his tenure at Valencia respectfully disagree and are grateful for his skillful leadership.
He's really gifted at taking complicated ideas and breaking them down to like really cogent, understandable concepts. And I can't remember a time when he literally told me what to do. He told me what we were trying to work on. And then I often brought to him, hey, I'm thinking of this, I'm thinking of that. And he would help me process that. His style just was so wonderfully opening, and enriching, encouraging.
He brings that culture. I think he brings the idea of inclusion. He brings the idea of you're kind of an entrepreneur in your own classroom, and I'm trusting you to produce a product and help these people learn. His whole mission is to include as many people as he can in the educational process. He just believes in people and that they can learn under the right conditions if they're given the opportunity.
Caring about people is really a big part of who he is and the humanity that he brings to that.
So with a firm grip on the purpose of Valencia College and the mission of enriching our community always at the forefront, Dr. Sanford Shugart continues to serve.
Most of us who are passionate about this work look in the mirror and we only see our warts. So there seems like so much left to do. So you live kind of in that ambiguity between really appreciating the depth of the work that's already occurred and how far we've come, but knowing that there's so much of the journey left.
Before we welcome Dr. Shugart to the event, let's welcome a few students who would like to share their experience with Valencia College and how it shaped their lives.
Dr. Shugart, what a great pleasure it gives me to honor you today. I want to say thank you for all of the ways that your caring and compassionate leadership at Valencia allowed it to become a place that I still call home. A place where a once troubled teen sitting in prison could write a letter and receive a response welcoming him upon release. A place where a prospective student could be lost and wandering the halls and walk into the wrong counselor's office and still find support. A place where my criminal history did not overshadow my hard work and my merit and allowed me to get a job and become self-sustainable. A place where I was allowed to see beyond my limitations, where a homeless student on remedial classes could today become a top law school graduate, and proud to have originated that journey at a community college. Thank you, Dr. Shugart, for ensuring that Valencia, like many other community colleges, continues to be democracy's college, a place where all are welcomed, believed in, and given an opportunity to succeed.
Hi, Dr. Shugart. Trina Gregory Probst with 7 Bites here. I just wanted to offer my congratulations to you on your retirement. I'm so excited for you. You've got a whole new life ahead of you right now. It's kind of how I felt whenever I went back to school to get a new degree. I love that you made it so easy for non-traditional students to feel comfortable coming back to school and earning and learning a new career. So thank you for changing my life. I am forever grateful to Valencia for all of the things that I've learned in the culinary, the baking and pastry, and the restaurant management and hospitality degrees. It's really spectacular to see how the school has grown, and I am so proud to be an alumni. And now that you have so much extra time on your hand, I fully expect to see you for biscuits and gravy at least once, if not twice in a month. Congratulations, sir. Enjoy your retirement.
Hello and good evening, everyone. My name is Sean Burks. I graduated from Valencia College last year, completing the mechatronics program. I also graduated from the University of Florida, obtaining my Bachelor in Business Marketing. I am a father, a veteran of the U.S. Navy, and an electrical technician. I have worked several technician jobs leading me to where I am today. Valencia College gave me the knowledge and the skills that led me to getting my current position at Walmart Distribution as a multi-skill maintenance technician. After completing the mechatronics program, I received 6 certifications. This program interests me because I was familiar with the accelerated training, which had me intrigued. This program has given me the opportunity to take care of my family, and my next goal is enrolling into law school either at FAMU or Barry University of Law. I would like to thank Robert McMillan, Brendan, and all the staff at the Valencia College Advanced Manufacturing Training Center for the opportunity. Thank you for allowing me to share my story.
We appreciate all of our sponsors and are happy to have one of them here today to present the History Maker Award to our honoree. Truist Financial, like Walt Disney World, Orlando Credit Union, and our other sponsors and supporters, play a critical role in supporting the Historical Society and the work we do here. Now, here is Sandy Hostetter, the Central Florida Regional President of Truist Financial, to present the John Young History Maker Award to Valencia College, represented by Dr. Shugart. We will then hear from Dr. Shugart.
Good evening. My name is Sandy Hostetter, and I am the Central Florida Regional President for SunTrust, now Truist. First of all, I want to say how honored we are to be a sponsor of this evening's award ceremony. This is an event that I know you, like me, look forward to attending each year, as it always honors Central Floridians whose lives have enriched our community. And I am even more honored to be here tonight presenting this year's John Young History Maker Award to a friend I greatly admire and respect, Dr. Sandy Shugart. They told me that Dr. Shugart was willing to accept this award as long as we showcased Valencia College, the institution he has led for 20 years. That's just so like him to want to shine the light on anyone but himself. But unfortunately tonight, this award is personal. Tonight, we honor one of Central Florida's greatest leaders, a Renaissance man, a poet, a songwriter, a musician, educator extraordinaire, a friend, a fiercely proud husband and father, a servant leader, and a very keen businessman, a collaborator and a visionary. This is a man who loves history, and tonight we honor him by inducting him into ours forever. Several months ago, I had the pleasure of serving on a panel of local community leaders alongside Dr. Shugart at an annual retreat sponsored by Advent Health. They had invited author David Brooks, the author of The Second Mountain, A Quest for a Moral Life, to be the keynote speaker, and we were on the panel to discuss our takeaways on the book the following morning. The truth of the matter is that Dr. Shugart is a Second Mountain leader, and he has transformed Valencia College into a Second Mountain organization of great magnitude. And we in Central Florida will be the beneficiaries of that gift for generations to come. Just let me read you just a couple of lines for the book, just so you can weigh in and see if you don't agree. I've come to recognize First and Second Mountain organizations too. Sometimes you work at a company or you go to a college and it doesn't really leave a mark on you. You get out of it what you came for and you leave. Second Mountain organizations, they touch people at their depths and they leave a permanent mark. You always know when you meet a Marine, a Morehouse man, a Juilliard pianist, a NASA scientist. These institutions have a collective purpose, a shared set of rituals, a common origin story. They nurture thick relationships and demand full commitment. They don't merely educate, they transform. Dr. Shugart's greatest gift is that he cares deeply about his students and faculty, and it goes far beyond their GPA, the course offering, and the facilities. He is a teacher of life skills, morals, and leadership. He cares not just about the student, but about the individual. He is a builder of community, both the Valencia Community, I want to keep saying Valencia Community College, but Valencia College community and the larger Central Florida community. He is the great transformer. We in Central Florida have been transformed for the better, having had him at the helm for the past 20 years. And tonight we say thank you with the presentation of the John Young History Maker Award to one of Central Florida's heroes, Dr. Sandy Shugart.
Well, thank you, Sandy and Michael and the Historical Society. I'm overwhelmed. As you know, I didn't expect this exactly, but I'm grateful that the story of Valencia is being told and that people I respect and love are in the room, so to speak. Given that it's the Historical Society, I feel like I ought to tell a little story. And this Valencia's story of being a history maker as an institution really comes from its very beginning, because as the college, it almost didn't happen. You probably know the story. In 1957, in the wake of the Sputnik launch and the National Defense Education Act and so on, education was suddenly the top of everyone's agenda. And the Florida legislature, in addition to creating new universities, set up a council. They called it the Community College Council, to build a system of community colleges across Florida. I think there were already 3 or 4 that had deep roots in private education that were converting to public institutions. But in 57, they said, we need to build 23 new community colleges all over the state to serve our growing population. That was also the time when Florida was still profoundly segregated, not just by tradition, but also legally. The Florida Constitution had not been amended since 1887 with regard to segregation. And so it was illegal in Florida, technically, to serve people of different races in the same schools. And that's in spite of the fact that Brown versus the Board of Education overturned de jure segregation back in 1954. So the creation of these institutions was in the middle of a struggle for civil rights. And in 1961, additional institutions were proposed. In fact, between 57 and 61, 3 institutions were created. Daytona, what is now Daytona State College, what is now, it was Brevard Community College at the time, now it's Eastern Florida State College, and North Florida Community College were all created as whites-only institutions. Well, in 61, Hillsborough County and the Pasco and Hernando counties and Osceola and Orange counties were slated to get their colleges. The legislature approved them and appropriated capital to build the first buildings. And the governor at that time, responding to powerful forces inside Central Florida, vetoed the funding for the creation of what would become Valencia. And we were thwarted. A battle royal ensued and lasted 5 years, in which champions for both sides, for the college and against it, were aligned across the community. And honestly, the powerful traditional interests were opposing the creation of a college that would serve everyone and make opportunity real for every person, and would admit Blacks, Jews, whomever was being excluded from other institutions. And there were some key progressive leaders in that. Many of you know the name of Raymer McGuire, for whom our library on West Campus is named. Raymer was a attorney in town and a fierce battler on almost anything that caught his attention. And he led the charge, but he was helped by a man named Ed Fallon, who was a vice president and the senior executive for Martin Companies here in town, and also by a man named Joe Breckner, who was the editorialist on Channel 9 television. And he did scores of editorials in favor of a college of opportunity that extended that opportunity to everyone without regard to race or religion. And then there were quieter heroes like Charles Milliken, the first president of FTU, who's weighing in support of the creation of the college probably was decisive for its ultimate creation. And our partnership with UCF has been at our core from those first earliest days. And then some people even quieter, like maybe Andy Saros, who was a foil in some ways to Raymer McGuire, who was on the first board. They were close friends. And Andy was perhaps the kindest, calmest, most jovial and loving man I think I ever met. These people were champions in their time, and it was a hard-fought battle. Finally, in 1967, the college was chartered, and it was chartered to serve everyone. And it opened the doors to people who had been excluded everywhere else in the community up until that time. Because all have value, and all can learn, and all have much to contribute. The last 50 years, especially the last 20, have been mostly about making sure that our promise of opportunity for everyone is real for everyone. The same high probability of success in learning and graduation, the same kind of life beyond college, no matter what zip code they were born in, or what language their parents or grandparents were most comfortable speaking, or how much money they had in the bank, or the color of their skin, or how they practiced their faith. The diverse and just and peaceful and prosperous and hopeful community we've all worked to build in Central Florida depends on institutions like Valencia, and the future vision for that kind of community does as well. A college that is a servant institution and that serves everyone. I tell you this story because it needs to be learned and relearned generation after generation, because great institutions, great servant institutions don't just spring up. They're fought for and built out of struggle. They are the result of communities struggling together, sometimes against the odds, to bring the whole community to a new place. There are many heroes in our story, and some we can name, most we can't, but they are heroes still. I think of them as stewards of the promise of opportunity. The future of great history-making servant institutions, as much as the past, also requires that same stewardship. Certainly from people like me and others who work in the institutions who are charged with that responsibility, but even more from people in the community without whom we couldn't thrive. My time of stewardship at Valencia is coming to a close in a few months. Yours as a community will continue. And I wonder what history in support of Valencia and its mission you will make. Be a history maker. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Shugart, for those words, and we hope that this award helps make the region even more aware of the impact of Valencia College on the Central Florida community and the entire country. Before we close, we've asked our sponsors to give a brief toast or tribute to our awardees this evening. Without further ado, let's begin. First, let's hear from the Honorable Richard Crotty, former Orange County Mayor and Valencia College alumni, who is speaking on behalf of Valencia College.
It's a real pleasure to recognize the John Young History Maker Awards each year. We have had some fabulous leaders in our community. Beth Johnson arrived in the state Senate as one of the very first women, the first woman, in fact, to serve in the legislature. And Paul Perkins who later became the city attorney, for his incredible efforts that he put forward in the civil rights movement and to get assurances of equality into the future. And our student, Chase Bennett. Congratulations, Chase, and I know that your future is bright. Let me have a special recognition, if I could, to Sandy Shugart. Sandy Shugart came to Valencia with a clear understanding that it was about access breeds success. In other words, we had an open door policy, an opportunity to go enter college and maybe go on to university. And so much has happened in our community in terms of having opportunities and seamlessness between, say, Valencia and the University of Central Florida. So, Sandy, congratulations, and I hope that your retirement, if that's what you want to call it, is a happy one. Thank you.
Next, please join me in welcoming the 6th president of the University of Central Florida, Dr. Alexander Cartwright. Dr. Cartwright is a native of the Bahamas, a researcher and scholar in the area of optical sensors, and has been at the helm of our hometown university since April. Dr. Cartwright, welcome to Central Florida. The floor is yours.
Sandy, on behalf of UCF students, faculty, staff, and alumni, as well as the university's Board of Trustees, led by Chair Beverly C., who joins us this evening, congratulations on receiving the 2020 John Young History Maker Award. Thank you for your leadership and stewardship at Valencia College and the impact it has had throughout Central Florida. You have proven the power of partnership. Your influence has helped so many achieve their educational dreams, creating an immeasurable and historic legacy most worthy of this distinctive honor. Congratulations again, and charge on.
Next, I'd like to welcome a partner with the Gray Robinson Law Firm and a member of the Historical Society's Board of Directors, Tom Cloud, who will give the toast on behalf of Gray Robinson.
We at Gray Robinson are proud to support the Orange County History Center and the Historical Society. Honoring our history makers here in Central Florida is essential, because how can we find the right path forward without knowing who we are and where we've been? Tonight, we salute tonight's honorees who have helped make Central Florida history. Sandy Shugart, a Tar Heel poet, musician, and educator who has been the distinguished president of Valencia College. Senator Beth Johnson, first woman of the Florida Senate, a legislator who championed education and one of the many who brought UCF to Orlando. And Paul Perkins Sr., a civil rights lawyer, a champion of justice against all odds, and a community builder. Gray Robinson is proud to belong to the Central Florida community and proud to be a part of its history and its bright future. Congratulations, Sandy Shugart.
Next, from Walt Disney World, please welcome George Kalogridis, the President of Segment Development and Enrichment for Disney Parks, to toast our honorees.
Sandy, I must admit that last month when you told me about your plans to retire, the first thing I thought of was a song on one of your albums called Barely Middle-Aged. After all, that's how I think of you, probably because of the energy and the enthusiasm that you've brought to the Valencia presidency every single day of your tenure. I also reflected on the fact that you've served the students, faculty, and staff of Valencia and our entire Central Florida community for 2 decades now. You were the architect of Direct Connect, which has been instrumental in fulfilling so very many Central Florida dreams. And jointly with UCF, you opened the downtown campus, central to so many area industries, especially hospitality. Throughout your career, you've continually elevated the bar in education, creating a legacy that our community will enjoy for many years to come. So, even though we all think of you as barely middle-aged, it's clear that you are an extraordinarily worthy recipient of the John Young History Maker Award, the award bestowed annually upon a Central Floridian whose lifetime of achievement has made an historic impact on our community. Congratulations, Sandy. I know I speak for all of us here at Disney and indeed our entire Central Florida community when I say that we wish you all the best as you pursue the next chapter in your story. Here's to you, Sandy.
Next, let's hear from our friends at Seaside Bank. Chief Financial Officer Barry Griffiths, along with his wife Tracy, will give their toast representing Seaside.
Sandy, from all your friends here at Seaside Bank,
Mosaic Church, and Commissioner Vanderlei's district,
we congratulate you on receiving the John Young History Maker Award. Not only have you built a world-class college here in our local community, you've been a community builder from the moment you first arrived.
all of us in Central Florida have been blessed by your leadership and involvement in our community.
Again, congratulations on receiving this wonderful award.
And your upcoming retirement.
And becoming a grandparent.
Cheers!
Now let's welcome Mark Jones. Mark is the president of Orlando Regional Medical Center and senior vice president of Orlando Health.
Good evening. I'm Mark Jones, the president of Orlando Health, Orlando Regional Medical Center, and a senior vice president of the healthcare system. Thank you for having me. The history of our community is something that both Orlando Health and I are very passionate about. That's why we are honored to support the Historical Society of Central Florida as a sponsor of this great event. The Historical Society recently helped us celebrate 100 years of Orlando Health caring for our community, and we continue that legacy today. One of tonight's history makers has played a special role in helping to write Orlando Health's history in this century. Since 2003, Dr. Sandy Shugart has served on our board of directors and helped guide the organization through an exciting expansion of services. Now we're caring for healthcare consumers across the region and the state. Dr. Shugart is committed to creating quality outcomes anytime he is involved, whether it's writing a book or a poem, leading Valencia College to national prominence, or helping guide Orlando Health as our chair of the board. That's why it's such a pleasure to recognize his many contributions to our Central Florida community through the John Young History Maker Award. On behalf of all of us at Orlando Health, thank you for letting us be a part of this event tonight. And now I'd like to propose a toast to Dr. Shugart and all the history makers here this evening. Congratulations and cheers to an incredible achievement.
Next, from the Historical Society's Board of Directors and representing Harbinger Capital Advisors, please welcome Jody Bertram.
I'd like to recognize all of our winners tonight, but especially Chase Bennett, the recipient of our scholarship award. I would like to congratulate him and toast his future success. And also to toast and recognize Dr. Shugart and Valencia as being an innovative leader in education, as being one of the best community colleges in America, and for his leadership.
Next, and also from the Historical Society's Board of Directors, please welcome Vice President of Client Management for CVS Health and Aetna, Mike Driscoll.
Thank you, Michael. These are challenging times when history has lessons for us. Social justice, social change, and support for those in less fortunate circumstances are hallmarks of great Americans. Americans like Paul Perkins Sr., who worked alongside Thurgood Marshall as a defender of the Groveland Four, as well as going on to found Florida's first Black-owned bank, empowering so many in the community to achieve the dream of home or business ownership. Americans like Beth Johnson, the first elected female to the Florida State Senate and a key advocate in the establishment of UCF. CVS and its subsidiary Aetna are dedicated to achieving access to healthcare and improving the lives of Americans in the communities in which we all live. Communities need resources, education, and support, the kind of support that Valencia College provides. I live not far from Valencia in East Orlando, and so many of the kids I've coached in my own neighborhood over the years have been guided to the next level by Valencia. It does me great pride to see that happen. As a supporter of the History Center, I recognize the power of leaders, institutions, and the lessons history can share. So my final thought is directed at Chase Bennett and his colleagues from his generation. Chase is a student at the Wharton School now. He's tonight's John Young History Award recipient. Chase, you've demonstrated great things in a short time, and I encourage you to leverage the learning you do to make the impact that those before you have made. Social justice and improving society are not small feats, but they're accomplished by great people during difficult times. I encourage you to leverage those lessons for all of us.
Last but not least, from this evening's event media sponsor and the Historical Society's Board of Directors, please welcome WUCF Executive Director, Dr. Phil Hoffman.
All of us here at WUCF toast Dr. Sandy Shugart and all the award winners in the John Young History Maker Celebration. WUCF is proud to partner with the Orange County Regional History Center throughout the entire year, honoring our past, exploring the present, and shaping the future of our region. Now, we've done a little bit of research and we found some little-known history about Dr. Shugart. For example, did you know that during the 1960s he was known as the Eighth Beatle, but a dispute with Ringo over the name Ringo led to his exit from the band? And another icon, Robert Frost, once wrote a 57-page letter to Dr. Shugart begging for help in finishing a poem called Two Tramps in Mud Time. WUCF is proud to be part of the John Young History Maker celebrations and proud to be Central Florida's storyteller. Congrats, Dr. Shugart.
As we close this evening's John Young History Maker event, we would like to take a moment to thank everyone who made this night possible, including all of our sponsors, the Historical Society staff, and WUCF for the remarkable videos. We also want to thank Linda Shreves and Michelle Mayo with Valencia College for their assistance with the event. This evening was about our history makers, but it was also about history, our history. While Valencia College, Mr. Perkins, Ms. Johnson, and Dr. Shugart all left indelible marks on our community, we all shape it in what we do while we are here. As we recognized our honorees this evening, we heard their stories. Our stories, all of them, are history. At the History Center, we use stories from our past to teach about history and make the connection between yesterday and today. We engage our guests with exhibits, programs, and the stories of our history. Only through understanding our past can we get a sense of place and a better understanding of our community, and only in that way can we all work together to make a better future. Thank you all, and good night.